Have you ever wondered how a single idea, sparked by something as simple as a book, can grow into something huge? Something that could change a whole nation's role in the world? Well, today we're diving into a story just like that. The story of Reuben Kachala and how his personal calling became a national mission.
I mean, it really comes down to this question, right? How does a single idea, a conviction that just grabs hold of one person, how does that snowball into a mission for an entire nation? Reuben Kachala's journey is, well, it's a perfect example of how that can happen.
All right, so let's rewind the clock. The year is 1995. Reuben Kachala is a student in Malawi, training to be a pastor. He's on a pretty standard path, but that path is about to take a hard left turn, all because of a book filled with some really stark, eye-opening data. And the thing that kicked it all off wasn't some big dramatic event or a charismatic speaker. It was this book, Operation World. During their daily chapel services, someone would read passages from it, and it basically lays out the spiritual state of every single country on Earth. So day after day, Reuben is hearing these statistics, and this really stark contrast starts to jump out at him. On one hand, you have his home country, Malawi, where he realized people had a lot of access to the Christian gospel. But on the other hand, there were all these other nations with just massive spiritual needs and almost nobody there to help. And that difference, man, it just became impossible for him to ignore.
This realization wasn't just a passing thought. It led to this powerful, life-changing decision. He felt he absolutely had to dedicate his life to going where the need was greatest. And that right there, that was the moment the missionary seed was planted. It would change everything for him.
So you might be thinking, okay, he had this new mission, so he just packed his bags and left, right? Well, not exactly. He started this long, very deliberate process of getting experience and getting others fired up right from his home base. And look, for the next decade, he was laying the groundwork. In 2001, he goes back to the same school he graduated from, but this time as a teacher, trying to inspire the next generation. By 2004, people are noticing his passion, and he gets elected National Missions Director for his entire denomination. It was only after almost 10 years of preparing others that in 2010, he and his family were finally sent out as missionaries themselves to India. But here's where the story gets really interesting. It's 2014, and they're near the end of their time in India. He had finally made it, right? He achieved his dream of being a missionary, but something just felt off. He talked about feeling this weird mix of emotions. On one hand, he was so grateful for the chance to be there. But on the other, he was deeply dissatisfied. Why? Because he looked around and realized his family's effort was just a tiny drop in this huge ocean of need. The problem was just too big for one family to tackle. And that dissatisfaction, that feeling of being overwhelmed, it sparked this huge question in his mind. What if his real purpose wasn't just to be another worker on the field? What if his job was to multiply the number of workers going to the field? This was a game-changing thought. So, let me break that down. It's a total shift in thinking, from simple addition to multiplication. The old model was, our family plus our efforts. But the new model, this new vision, was about mobilizing a whole army of believers from Malawi, from all over Africa, to go out. We're talking about an exponential impact. So, with this fire in his belly and this brand new vision, Reuben and his family headed back to Malawi. And their goal now wasn't just to pastor or teach. It was to build the entire system, the whole infrastructure, for sending missionaries from their own country. The very first thing he did in 2015 was to found Frontier Missions International, or FMI. And the key thing here is that this wasn't some outside group coming in. No, this was homegrown, a Malawian organization built by Malawians for Malawians. And this is where you see just how strategic he was. It wasn't just one thing. He built a whole ecosystem. Step 1, create the platform. That's FMI. Step 2, educate the churches using global courses. Step 3, bring everyone together under one umbrella, MIMA. And finally, step 4, with all that in place, start sending people out. It was brilliant. And the effort didn't stop there. We're talking about organizing huge prayer efforts, running awareness campaigns in local churches, even using social media and radio to get the word out. It was this all-out effort to change the entire mindset of a nation. So, at the end of the day, what does all this add up to? What's the ultimate goal? It's nothing less than a complete paradigm shift for his country and really for the continent. This right here, this is the core idea, and it is so powerful. To change Malawi's identity from a mission field, a place that just receives missionaries, into a mission force, a nation that sends them out to the world. It's about completely reframing how they see themselves. And you see, this isn't just about Malawi. Reuben's personal journey plugs into this massive global passion. His goal is to see the entire church worldwide, especially from places like Africa, step up and take a leading role in what he calls the remaining frontier mission task. You know, the story of Reuben Kachala really flips the script on how we often think about the world. It shows the incredible, incredible potential that's just waiting to be unlocked when the people who were once seen as needing help rise up to become this powerful, global force for change. It really leaves us with a big question to chew on. What happens when the helped become the helpers?